Okay. Hey, Jaden, how you doing? Thanks for being on. You
What's
did
up?
a lot of great things your freshman year, and now I guess the culmination of all that is being a finalist for the Bowerman. I haven't checked, but I don't think there are too many freshmen that are probably finalists. I have been finalists. What 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 are your feelings about being a finalist for such a prestigious award?
Well, it's all about timing. I think feeling really good, feeling really blessed to represent my school. I can say I'm not only actor, but Jamaica on a whole. I'm super excited to see what ceremony is about, have fun, dress up and all that. But the main aim is just representing my school and country on that platform.
And you and Britton, I mean, Arkansas could conceivably have a sweep. You never know. Again, I need to check if this has happened before. But what would you think about what do you think about you and Britton both being up for it? And how cool is it to get to go out there with somebody, another Arkansas athlete, and if you both have a shot to sweep, how cool would that be?
Well, as I said one time in the there was my media team was doing a video and she was like, "What's your dream for this Bahama?" And then I said that Britain and I should win because that would be so good for my school. Like I doubt they ever had a clean sweep, but I pray every day and I say, okay, me and Bray are gonna go there, we're gonna have fun, and whatever the results may be, even if we don't sweep or if we do or whatever, still gonna have fun and whatever the results are, God's plan at the end of the day. But it's my dream for both of us this week, though.
Thanks.
Yeah, Bob, both schools have each won a men's and women's Bowerman, but no school has won it the same year. And then beside Arkansas, Texas has a men's and women's finalists this year as well.
And we can't be by Texas. That's not allowed.
Leighton, did you want to have a
Yeah, I
question?
wanted to ask, Jaden, a lot has happened for you in the last year. I mean, you've had an exceptional career to date. Of course, now being considered for the Bowerman as well. How do you stay grounded? How do you not get swept away by all of what's been happening? I mean, notwithstanding what happened at the World Championships in Budapest, how do you maintain that humility that you've become, famous for? The fact that you have done so much in such a short period of time.
Well, things like what happened at Budapest helps me to stay grounded because it happens to the best of the best. Anything can happen. It's a sport. Your body is your business and stuff like that. So most times I wouldn't say I'm pessimistic, but sometimes I think about the worst too much than the good. And I also prepare for the worst, but humility takes you far away. Like, what God gives, He can also take, and stuff like that. So I think that's one of the things that really pivoted my success in triple jump. And hey, it's a rough sport. Like you can hop, step, and jump, and probably something happens. Like it's such a technical event. You really have to stay grounded in your mind and your body. Like overall, just not humility, but overall with your body and thinking about the jump and all of that. It's a lot that goes on. So just staying humble and stuff really keeps me in my zone and stuff like that.
That said, though, I mean, how did you have you gotten over what happened in Budapest? Obviously, you're among the favorites. In fact, many people believe that based on the jump in the preliminary rounds, you probably most likely would have won, but then the injury happened at the worst possible time. How have you navigated your own reaction to what happened in Budapest to get yourself back focused for the coming season and possibly the Olympics in the summer in Paris?
Well, it's as I said, I started the sport 3 years ago. I'm still going through the rigors and the triumphs of the sport. Sometimes you win. I have to learn that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and not every time when you think you're gonna win, and every time you think you're probably ready, you are ready. I just think that I improve so quickly when I train. Like when you give me good training, I'm gonna improve like really quick. That's just one thing about my body, and it's kind of hard for an 18-year-old body to be succumbing all of that, all of the rigors of jumping on your body and while still developing and growing. So it's hard. I wouldn't say I've fully gotten over it, but I can't, you know, succumb to it or envelop my mind around it too much because there's greater to achieve next season. So it's work in progress at the moment, but as I said, trusting what the man above has for me.
Thanks much. I'll come back to Britton.
Thank you. Britton's still trying to log on with her laptop here shortly, so I'll give her a couple minutes. Paul, did you have a question for Jaydon?
I just wanted to ask him, how did the incident in Hungary, how does that fuel him? How does that, how does he allow that to push him forward for this season, going into this season?
Well, injuries, especially on the big stage, makes you hungry. Like, you're going to want it next year. You're going to want it even more next year. So I think the mindset that I have going into next year, I'm a bit more focused as it pertains to my recovery. I'm more focused as it relates to doing the meets that matter and communication with coach. I think that's one of the big things that allows for success in my career. But as I would say that I'm coming for the gold. Well, everybody is, but I'm really hungry for the gold medal in Paris, and I'm working towards it.
Appreciate that. Thank you much.
Hubert, if you had a question for Jaydon before we move to a couple of questions for Britton. Your mute's on, just to let you know, Hubert.
Unmute. Is that better? I pressed unmute and it says leave. So I think I'll stay. Jaydon, this Bowerman thing, NCAA titles indoors and out. There's a world indoor junior record in that season as well. The longest jump on the season and the longest jump in Budapest. When you look back in your mind at that body of work, when you look back at 2023, all in all with Budapest at the back end of it to sort of turn the thing over, how do you feel about your body of work for the year?
I surpassed my expectations. I didn't expect to shoot off my first year like that because the season started pretty, I would say, weird in a way. I was getting used to the program and I strained my back. I strained my hamstring once. I think I twisted my ankle once. It was so much things going on. So I was like, oh my gosh, maybe it's just taking time. But I kept on praying. I kept on training, coach. As I said, communication was the key to my success because the moment I felt something, the moment I wasn't feeling good, I just listened to my body and say, hey, coach, maybe today we need to tone it down or whatever, and stuff like that. So I think communication and him being the genius he is, working around it and formulating and compiling the program in such a way where it suits a younging that's growing, doing triple jump and hurting at the same time.
Saw you at Carifta in the Bahamas. I said to my friend, he's going to jump out of the pit, but it was a rainy, cold day in the Bahamas. And then you got a chance to taste big time track in the Diamond League. When you got out of there, you and Fabrice Jango battling down to the last round. What was your mindset coming out of Monaco, going back home before Budapest?
Good question. That was my first appearance on the biggest stage, so I was kind of surprised. The energy in the stadium is what fueled me the most. Like nothing, I don't even think you can compare it to the energy in Jamaica. But I think the energy is what fueled me, and even when I finished competing, you would think that I was the one who won because the crowd was so in tune and wanted autographs and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, the second place is not that bad after all. But so, it's a competition, you want to win and stuff. But I have to accept that, hey, I had a long season even before the Diamond League. I was a bit tired going into it. It was a bit unprecedented when I heard it because I heard it like a week before I left. So, adjustments and stuff like that take place. And I had a choice if I wanted to go or not. And I said, hey, let me just take a step. Probably it's good for me going into Budapest, feeling how it feels with the big guys and stuff like that. But as I said, it made me hungry for the gold in Budapest, and I was determined to come out on top despite even what happened.
Okay.
Thank you. Bob, do you have a question for Britton?
Yeah. Hey, Britton, how you doing? I would ask the same thing I asked Jaydon. I'm not sure if you were on or you were messing with your computer, but Sean was saying there's been schools that have won a men's and a women's Bowerman, but there's never been a school do it the same year, sweep it. You guys have a chance to do that. First, what do you think about being a finalist with Jaydon, and then you guys being able to go out there together with the Arkansas crew, and then the possibility at least that Arkansas could sweep? How cool would that be?
Yeah, I'm super excited and definitely even more excited that I'm there with Jaydon. Me and Jaydon have a really great relationship, so we become super close, sort of besties. So it's really exciting to get to be there with someone that's like one of my best friends, and the fact that both the men's staff and the women's staff are all going to be there. So the environment's going to be really exciting. Obviously, it would be amazing to win it together. I really think firmly that we both could do it, but obviously I heard Jaydon's answer too, and basically what he was saying, like, we're not going to be upset either way because we're both just like so happy and blessed to be there anyway and just to have this experience. So we're going in there with super high hopes and good attitudes, and I don't think anything is really going to ruin our attitude, but definitely would make it super super cool if we both won together.
And then when you look back at your career at Arkansas now, with a few months since your last race for the Razorbacks, just how would you sum it up? I mean, how well things went. I assume you're still going to be in Fayetteville training with Chris. Is that the plan?
Yes, I'm still training here with Coach Johnson. I would sum up this season pretty highly. I think it was a really great season, and it was really exciting for me to have done so many things that I did this year. The injury definitely was a little bit of a bummer on like my attitude towards the future. It definitely made things a lot more mentally challenging, but other than that, I think the season was really great, and I have so many positive memories and experiences from it.
And it was your shin, or what exactly is that? What it was? I remember you
Yeah,
had to wear that stuff.
yeah, it was both shins. My right one was a grade 2 stress fracture, and my left one was a grade 4 stress fracture.
Wow, so that's amazing. You were even running, to me, anyway. How are you feeling physically? Are you gonna run indoors this year, or maybe wait for outdoors? And or what's your game plan moving forward?
I will probably skip indoor just to maintain my health because we're definitely just trying to focus on the Olympic team. But I am feeling good. I've got back on the track a few days this past week, so definitely slowly coming back and starting to like train and get stronger in the weight room. This is kind of like the rebuilding process from the injury, so I'm definitely hopeful for what's coming next and looking more towards outdoor just because indoor we don't want to like re-flare up the injury and then not be able to run when it comes to like June and July. So probably going to stay away from indoor meets, but definitely train through it.
Yeah, and then beyond last season, just your whole time at Arkansas, I mean, making the decision to transfer and then work with Chris, and now he's the head coach and all that. A lot of good things have happened for both y'all. Just how good has that been? When you look back, like, wow, that was a pretty good decision I made, probably.
Yeah, it definitely was a good decision. I was struggling a bit with the transition here just because Coach Johnson's training is so intense and a little crazy, but it was he was very patient with me and he helped me transition. So I think that the way he coached me and the way he got to learn me definitely contributed to the relationship we have now and how much I excelled within 2 years with him. So I think it's been great so far, and he's obviously now head coach, so he's excelling as well. So I think that we've built this great relationship, and we both continue to like hit these milestones together.
Yeah, I just got one more. Jaydon, I think you're still 18, right? You don't turn 19 till January or something crazy.
Yeah.
And I know you're pretty young too. What are you, 22 or something?
23. I just turned 23.
Well, that's still young. As a little bit older athlete, what do you think about all the stuff Jaydon has done and just the maturity he shows for a guy his age?
I'm literally obsessed with Jaydon. I think he's so great. And I'm in awe every time he competes. Like I tell him all the time, like I'm so obsessed with him. I think he's amazing. And I really admire how well he's carried himself, especially on the bigger stage. Like I've gone through some of these big meets and I was shaking in my boots. I was scared, and Jaydon always carries himself so well. So I really admire Jaydon. And like I said, I'm so excited that it's us two because we've grown so close this year because we've both been to the same meets and we both dealt with an injury and had the very similar way that our 2023 season went. So yeah, I'm obsessed with him. He's great.
It looks like he's got a SpongeBob cell phone there too. I'm not quite sure, but that's kind of cool. Anyway, there you go. Thanks, thanks, Britton. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Britton,
Yes.
I'm Hubert Lawrence. I write for the Glean in Jamaica, and I do have you give me a lot of trouble. I was doing my World Championship spreadsheet, I think it was last year, and didn't know where to put you, whether 400 or 400 hurdles. So I have to ask you, in your heart, at gut level, which of these two events at which you're both extremely good, which one is in your heart? Which is your number one priority, 400 flat or 400 hurdles?
That's a good question. Definitely this year I am dead set on the 400 flat. I actually have always been a 400 flat runner, like all through high school. I didn't start hurdling until my last year of high school and my first year at Tennessee. So the hurdles came kind of new to me, but they were super fun. And I really do love the hurdles and I enjoy running them, but the 400 has always kind of been my thing. So I would consider myself a 400 runner before a 400 hurdler. But in terms of this coming season, I definitely want to do the 400 and kind of get a chance to do more and actually like see what really I can do and how much I can push myself, since I feel like that chance got cut short with the injury this year.
So let me get this straight. When I start my 2024 Paris spreadsheet, I can put you in the 400 group, flat.
And you can put me at the top.
Got you. Thank you.
Britton, I wanted to ask you, you had an outstanding year last year for Arkansas. Going into the NCAAs, you were a favorite to win at least one of your events, but then it didn't happen. Would winning the Bowerman make up for that disappointment, given how close you came to doing the extraordinary? Because both events were like half an hour apart.
Yeah.
Give me an idea of what would that mean for you to win the Bowerman, given that happened before?
That's a really good question. I actually was very, very, very heartbroken after the nationals because I've done the double so many times, and doing that double has become like really easy to me. And people think it sounds kind of crazy when I say that, but it feels really easy and I like enjoy doing it. So I was really just excited to do it at nationals and like get the chance to be the first person to do it. But everything just kind of wasn't in my favor. The injury was worse. Mentally, I wasn't there. And so it was really heartbreaking because in my heart, I knew I could do it. But it just didn't happen that day. And I remember I had called Jarian and I was like, Jarian, they're going to kick me off the watch list. I'm not going to go to the Bowerman. I'm not going to be a finalist. And he was telling me, he was like, calm down. Like, this isn't the end. Like, you've had such an amazing year. And so I think that it really did take a toll on me. And I was to the point where I thought that I wasn't going to be a finalist. I thought that I wasn't even going to be on the semifinalist list anymore. So just being a finalist has meant a lot to me. And I think if I were to win it, it would definitely like patch up all the little heartbreaks that I had from that nationals race, because it was really hard on me. So it would be kind of like a rewarding feeling to win it.
My second question is, you just said that you're obsessed with Jaydon, and of course you've become very close friends. you're from a country that has a very, very fierce rivalry with the country that Jaydon is from. Give me a sense of how that dynamic works when you both probably will be on the stage in Paris. He wearing green, black, and gold. You're wearing, of course, the famous red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Give me a sense of how that works for your friendship, because there are many like that. But I just want to know what's the specific dynamic of your relationship with Jaydon.
Yeah, that's a good question. It is definitely kind of crazy that we have that rivalry between the Jamaicans and the US athletes, but Jaydon's gonna cheer for me and I'm gonna cheer for him. Like it's kind of like regardless, like he could be going up against all Team USA and I'm gonna cheer for Jaydon. Just because we've had such a close bond with each other. And like even with the other Jamaican 400 runners, like I feel like there's such a rivalry on the track and during that competition, but when we're on the podium, like we're all just hugging, dancing each other, making TikToks, just having a good time. And so I really do love how like we're competitors on the track, but afterwards we're all kind of just like colleagues. And so definitely if I see Jaydon competing, I'm cheer for him.
Yeah, and my final question in that regard is, give me a sense of how that relationship began. I mean, I know you have a lot of commonalities in terms of your injuries and challenges, etc. But what is it that you think brought you both together as friends?
I would say that we just became friends based off of like our determination for the sport. And I could tell that Hibby had a level of maturity and like focus over a lot of the other people on the team. And I think that's why we kind of gravitated towards each other because our team, the Razorback team, is a very focused group of athletes, and that's why they win so much. But there's always going to be those people that are like always distracted, or they don't do what they're supposed to do, or they're not in the training room, they're not finishing the workouts. But Jaydon isn't one of those people, and I'm not one of those people. So we definitely gravitated towards each other because we're both similar athletes. And he would always cheer for me and lift me up, and I would cheer and lift him up. And then we both kind of excelled at the same time, like at indoor nationals and then going into the outdoor season. So I think the way our seasons kind of like ran the similar course just brought us closer together. And then both being on the Bowerman watch list, just like we just kept being closer and closer and experiencing the same things.
Thank you so much.
That nomination to the Bowerman finalists suggests that the body of work for the season was so substantial that the people making the choices couldn't put you out just because of what happened in the NCAAs. But I want to ask you, when you look back at 2023, what was the high point for you competing as a Arkansas Razorback?
Yeah, I would definitely say it was the American record, the indoor 400 at NCAAs, because I was experiencing the first kind of little fallouts with the shin stuff. It was when they were both a grade 2, so it wasn't as bad as it got outdoor, but it started to flare up. And so I was out for a few weeks. And then I got COVID and I was out for more weeks. And so I was really scared for how my season was going to go because I wanted it to be better than last year. And so going into nationals, I kind of was just like, I'm going to just give it to God. I'm going to just trust myself and relax. And then I came out there and I ran my first ever 49 and broke the American record. And I feel like that was like the turning point for how my confidence shifted in the outdoor season and also like my excitement. Like I fell back in love with the sport, even when I was suffering with those injuries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Coach Bucknam with us now. Bob, if you wanted to ask any questions with Coach Bucknam.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. Hey, obviously, Jaydon had an incredible freshman year. Now he's a Bowerman finalist, and what do you think about the year he had for you guys, and the fact he's a finalist at such a young age?
It's pretty incredible. We knew he was an outstanding athlete coming in, but he really exceeded all of our expectations in regards to just how he embraced and absorbed what we're about here at Arkansas and the coaching with Coach Geffert. He just he nailed it. I mean, he put his trust in Travis and the rest is history. I think that's a big part of it.
And then he and Britton, Sean was saying no school's ever swept it. Texas, I think somebody's won, or who is it? Sean, somebody's had a male winner and a female winner, but different years. Nobody's ever swept it. What do you think about that? And just going out there with such a big Arkansas contingent, having athletes finalists in both, categories.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome. I think it also it's both of our programs are elite, and that we compete at the highest level, and both Chris and I are blessed, and Lance, when he was here, with just a great coaching staffs, and so pretty special time for both our programs, and I think it just speaks volumes for what we're trying to get done here.
Thanks.
Anybody else with a question for Coach Bucknam?
Coach Buckman, Jonathan Edwards, the world record holder in the triple jump, recently described Jaydon as phenomenal and believes that if anybody breaks his record within the immediate future, it would most likely be him. Rationalize that as coach, because Jaydon is only 18 still.
Yep.
How do you put that into context, given how outstanding Edwards was in his career and how close Jaydon is now, only at 18 years old, about to be 19?
Excuse me. I would have to say what we preach here at the University of Arkansas is just it's hard in our sport, but you can't be result oriented all the time. You've got to really enjoy, for lack of a better term, the process, the training, the camaraderie, being on a team, all those types of things with Hibby. I think that's what he embraced last year. And I think that's what he has to continue to embrace. And, people can make, they can make, predictions and, talk about what the future might bring. But it's like what I've talked to, Hibby the other day. It's just, his battle is basically human nature right now. And that is just be focused, not on results all the time, but just be focused on really enjoying the process of getting better. Let those results speak for themselves once you compete. But obviously that's Hibby. That's what we talked about, and that is just focusing on Travis, embrace our setting, embrace our team. I think those are the types of things that are at his age, I would hope are enjoyable. Our teams are really good here. We not only have great triple jumpers, we have great long jumpers, we have great distance runners. We have the NCAA champion in the hurdles. We have, it's kind of like a Olympic training facility here with the different events we have going. Our 4x4, for example, we're in the second fastest time in world history indoors. So there's a lot going around Hibby that I think is fun for him, and he just needs to continue. My advice, and we've talked, and I know Travis has, just focus on being where your feet are. Okay, don't worry about what other people are saying. Focus on and be really good where you're present right now. And that means when he goes to practice today, no matter what it is, have the best practice he can on December 9th or whatever this day is. And so that's kind of how I feel about it.
And that's the message that is communicated constantly, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. Because to me, that's what's worked. That's what worked last year. He wasn't focused on records last year. He was just focused on adjusting to a new way of life and a new part of the world and new friends and all that. And here we go again. We're in his second year, and there are new challenges. He knows a lot what's going on now. He's familiar with the surroundings. He's got a great relationship with Coach Geffert. He knows how our meets work and, what the schedule is. And now just embrace that second year and do the best you can that second year. And don't worry about results, because if you do that, results will come.
Coach Hubert Lawrence from the Guinea and Jamaica, what you've said about yourself and by inference Texas, two strong programs, each have a Bowerman finalist, male and female. And what you've just talked about there leads me to ask you, what does Arkansas look for? What type of headspace does Arkansas look for when you're trying to bring people into the program?
Number one, we're looking for people that really enjoy what they're doing. And, I think that's for the main thing for us. Obviously, we're looking for talent. We're looking for, kids that can aspire to go to the next level once their collegiate careers are done. But we're also looking for those kids that want a collegiate experience, that school is important. I think that's the thing with Hibby and Wayne and all those guys, and that is, they're focused on getting a degree. And I think that's critically important. And if you look at Hibby's grades and how he does it, he really exemplifies what I just talked about a few minutes ago, and that is he's wherever he is, he's present, as you call it, that headspace there. And when he's up on the hill and he's taking classes, he's not thinking about jumping for the most part. I don't think. I'm sure it creeps in once in a while before big meet or whatever, but he's thinking about doing a great job in the classroom. And then when he's with me and he's talking with me, and I don't directly coach him, I'm the head coach. But when we talked the other day, he stopped where he was at, and we chatted for 15 minutes or so, and he was dialed into what our conversation. And I think that's the key to success at this level is to be able to compartmentalize, be able to do what you can do at the moment. You don't have to be 100% every day. We like to have you at a B+ level. We like to have you at 87%, somewhere right around there. But nobody expects all of our, and I don't, as a head coach, expect our kids, give me 100% here, give me 100% here, just be present and listen and really take in where you're at. And so I think that's the kind of kids we're looking for, the kids that want something more than just landing as far out into the pit as you can. This is a vehicle. It's an amazing system that we have where you can get a university degree and then do the things and travel and compete and all the all the things that we have. It's pretty amazing. So those are the kids we're looking for. And I'm sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Got you. Thank you.
No problem. Can I just follow up with a question which is not directly related to the one that Hubert asked? But Texas won their first title in 18 years last year. How does Arkansas get back to a level where they're being? I mean, I know they lost Julian Alfred. Now she's gone pro and she's finished school. But how does Arkansas close that gap on where Texas was last year?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for the women's program because I don't coach the women. I just coach the men. And I think we beat Texas last year. So I'm, we're where we need to be on the men's side. On the women's side, I know they've had their number a bunch of years, and these meets that things happen, and I clearly thought that we're still. Again, on the women's side, I can't speak for Coach Johnson, but I can tell you what a phenomenal coach he is, and the program that we have. We're where we need to be on the women's side And we're going to continue to be that way. And on the men's side, it's the same.
Thank you so much, Coach, and all the best for the coming season. Huh?
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. We're excited.
Bob, did you have another question for Coach Bucknam or anybody else? Oh, you're on mute.
No, I had a hard-hitting question. I was going to ask Britton what her cat's name is. I saw her kitty cat get in the picture.
Her name is Neptune, and she is very bad.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a big cat, a big Maine Coon. He's about 25 pounds. He doesn't like to get picked up, or I'd pick you up and show him, but he might scratch my arm off. But he's a pretty good cat most of the time. But
Coach Bucknam, one question for you that the talent, in addition to Jaydon, the rest of the talent you had on the team during the course of the season had 5 different individuals be on the watch list for the Bowerman, and then ended up having 2 semifinalists with Jaydon and Kerry McLeod. Just talk about how that dynamic worked, having that much talent on a squad and everybody kind of feed off of each other during the season.
Well, I mean, that feeding off each other, I'm sure that's a question for Hibby. But I would have to think it's exciting to be, on our team and out there competing, because he knows great things are happening all around him. And, I'm sure he's dialed into taking care of his business. But when you look at Roger Stoner, for example, that when you check over at the discus circle, and we're at the SEC championships, and he throws the second furthest throw in NCAA history. I was there, I watched it, and the winds weren't favorable for a throw like that. Just a phenomenal, Sean, when you think about across the board, whether it was a discus, whether it was our 4x4, whether it's Philip Lamonius in the 110 hurdles that came away with a national title. When you look at Britton, when she's out there competing, it's we're feeding off the women too, and there's a lot of great things happening there. It's pretty amazing, the fact that we had 5 different athletes on that watch list over the course of the year. Gives you an idea of what's going on here in Fayetteville. And it's just so impressive. I've been here for a while. I was impressed. It was really, phenomenal. And, credit to my coaches, credit to our administration that puts so much money into our program, that we're allowed to travel anywhere in the country. We're allowed to travel to the World Championships and get our kids there, and they're taken care of, and there's no issues with travel or food or housing or what have you. I mean, it's just we're so blessed here at the University of Arkansas to have the support we have for both our men's and women's program. It's off the charts, and I think those are the types of things that help us develop these athletes, Sean, and the opportunities they get, how we travel, where we stay, how we try to eliminate, even you get down to brass tacks, even with my director of ops, and how he plans our travel and how he sets things up. Am I right, Hibby? He's Matt Downs is phenomenal. And so it takes a complete, team effort for us to be able to excel like we do, but it's phenomenal situation.
Indeed.
Coach. Go ahead, Coach Hibbert.
Pardon?
Go ahead, Coach Hibbert.
What did you say?
I said, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I don't know what's the question.
Okay. I wanted to ask Coach Bucknam, you mentioned Philip Lemonius, and I wanted to ask him this question regarding Philip and all those others who come to Jamaica to the national championships trying to make big teams. Next year, the big team is the Olympic team. What do you tell the youngsters Lemonis has been right on the cusp of making big teams for Jamaica before and just missed it. What do you tell them when they come about how to comport themselves? Is it just another meet, or do they have to crank it up a notch mentally to move from the collegiate season to the international stage?
It's what we're trying to create is the tiniest step possible between that collegiate experience and that Olympic trial experience, whether it's at the Jamaica or the U.S. championships or what have you. We're trying to make that step tiny, okay? And so that it's easy to negotiate. So with a guy like Philip, the main thing with Philip right now is just staying healthy and making sure he needs to be where he needs to be, at that time. And so, we're thrilled when these kids can go to their home countries and compete to make world championships and Olympic games and that type of thing. So it's just a matter of, for a guy like Philip, it's just a matter of, being a little bit more consistent. He didn't qualify for the indoor NCAA championship. And so I know that's on his mind. And so, I think that will help him. That 60-meter race will help him, give him confidence. He just did a phenomenal job at the end of the year, but I know he came up a little bit short, but a lot of that is just, just the endurance of getting through, a few more races. That makes sense?
No, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
I have a question for Britton, but I think she's gone. Okay.
She got tired of hearing me talk.
I'm sorry, my cat was eating a nail on the ground. So she wouldn't swallow it.
Britton, I had a question for you because Hubert's, in response to Hubert's question, you said that you would be focusing on the 400 meters this year. The last few Olympic Games have been dominated by Caribbean athletes in that event, in the women's 400 meters. Shawnee Miller, I think the last person from the US was Alison Felix, who was Olympic champion. Is that a goal for you this year, or is this a year too early for you in terms of probably trying to break that pool of Caribbean athletes on that event? Or are you looking forward to 2028?
No, that is definitely a goal this year. But I think the biggest goal for me is to remain healthy. But I think if I do remain healthy, that type of goal is definitely reachable. And at least like top 3 in the Olympics is definitely reachable for me. But my biggest goal, obviously, is to become an Olympic champion. And I think that is definitely doable for me. But I would really just need to remain my health, staying healthy. But yeah, I think that's definitely a goal for me. And I think it's a reachable goal. I just am super focused on being healthy enough to do that.
We're wishing you the best on that. 49.13 is not far away from 48. We'll see.
48 is coming. It's coming.
Jaydon, I had one question for you. Was in addition to all the titles you won and the honors that you received, now that we've reached December and it's the end of the year, how special is it that your mark from your victory at SECs ended up being the world leader for the entire season?
Well, to be very, very honest, I was anticipating Pichardo to I would say reopen his season at the Diamond League in Monaco, but I knew if he did that, he would be a fierce competition and he would have jumped far. I think he would have pushed me a bit more to be technically sound in my jumps, a bit more focused and stuff like that. Even though I'm still focused and stuff, but that extra push does help. But given that, hey, he's not here as the Olympic champion, he's the world champion. I'm here developing, probably getting the first time to ever feel like a world leader, feel like a leader. Have all these praises set around me. It's really good. Not too overwhelmed about it, but I feel like I'm really blessed to be called the king of triple jump in 2023, especially coming to Arkansas only jumping illegal 70 meters once, and then jumping over 1750 at least like 10 times, 4 or 5 times in one meet. Like stuff like those I still have not thought about yet. Like it's not soaked in my mind yet what I've really done, because I'm so focused on what is to come. But still, I'm giving thanks for all these blessings.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else with a question?